Well, the morning's turned out better than forecast. Thought we were going to get a heck of a lot of rain today, but it looks like it's going to miss us all being well. You saw in the previous video, just started this part of the project, taking the fence down. We've got the excavator to start the big Volvo 18-ton machine. So I'm going to crack on now, naturalising this former slurry lagoon and trying to make it into a much better space for habitat, safer environment for people to be able to enjoy and use it. Obviously, this hasn't been used for slurry. This hasn't been used for slurry for, I say, over 30 years. So we're going to try and pull all these steep banks down. So you can see around the far side there how it's very, very steep gradient coming down to effectively now what's a pond. So we're just pulling the banks back. You can see here I've just started this morning. And we're just grading that back and then reducing the slope. It's extremely steep-sided. So we're going to pull all these banks back. I'm probably going to reduce the height of this yet here. It's probably difficult to see the perspective. But we're going to get that nice and graded down so that we can rotivate all this ground. It can all be seeded and then get it so that it blends into the rest of the field and just looks like part of the landscape proper. I've not worked out how many cube there are, but you know, there's quite a few thousand tonne here. So we keep pulling all that round today. And then we can start thinking about God, she nearly fell in. Then we can start thinking about rotivating, seeding, naturalising, fencing round. Also what I want to try and achieve, you see down here, it's quite a rectangular shape where it was created. We're going to start scalloping in afterwards some sort of shallows. The water drops away still quite steeply down into about 5 foot within the first couple of 3 metres. So we're going to create some more natural shapes in the sides of the bank, and we'll probably utilise those as shelves of about 400 or 500 mil, maybe going up to about 600 or 700 mil just before it tapers off the drop off. Just areas where we can put marginal plants so that we get a little bit more interest around the bottom of the banks, and that'll also create great habitat for wildlife and insects. So we'll just keep digging now. Yours just brought the little Volvo over now. Got to get this off to another site tomorrow. So while it's still here, just want to get some stumps ground out. We've got this attachment that goes on the little Volvo. It's a stump grinder. You see the stump grinding teeth there. Yours just going to track over now. A few episodes ago, there's a couple of trees that had to come down there to create the vista between the two pens. Well, those root plates are still there now, so I just want to get those ground out while we've got the machine here. And that'll allow us just to get the soil levelled up as we finish off and tidy up that part of the project. One of the previous episodes we were out spraying. This is one of the fields I sprayed. You can see here that's buttercup. Taking that out. Yeah, there's a little bit of dot bouncing back, but it's really done those. So you can see the stump's got to take out. There's this one here, another one here. Here comes Yuri now with the grinder. This is a Klou, made by Klou, or Klou. See here, these are the tungsten carbide teeth. They act in pairs. There's the wearing surfaces. Just check those now before we start. They're all intact. So you can imagine that spins out really, really, really fast, as you'll see in a moment. You just have to slowly grind away at it. So you see this stump is about 18-inch diameter. So we're going to take that woody material away and then just follow the roots. So the lateral roots will start spreading out under the ground. We can trace those and follow them as we go. So, obviously stump grinder's working off the third service of the excavator. What we find really important with these is we've got a turnover valve on the valve block where we can send one of the oil lines from double acting to a single acting circuit. So it's dumping the oil back into the reservoir faster with less resistance. Puts less resistance on the motor and the seals in the motor. Helps it spin a bit faster. So the key with this is to not go too fast and hard at it. Just want, probably only taking about 5 or 8 mil at a time, and maybe 10 mil. You just crowd the head back and forth quite steady control. You see that eating away the root. You don't want to engage the teeth too deep into the timber, otherwise it'll just either stall the motor or dance off the stump. So just that little gentle crowding action back and forth just means we're only taking a little bit at a time. But you see quite quickly how that's eating away at the stump. Going over it like that several times, several passes over the stump, we'll get rid of all that main part, and then we can start seeing where the lateral roots start disappearing into the ground, and then we can trace those through the soil as well. They're not as quick as some of the bigger tracked self-propelled machines, and it is a little bit of a skill to just operate the digger so steadily just to get the best out of it. I'd say a skill, it just takes a bit of practice. We just find having this attachment, if we've got the excavator on site anyway for moving brash or other parts of the tree operation, if there is just the odd relatively small stump like this to take out, you know, it saves revisiting site again. There we go, I think that's a pretty good start to getting this area sorted out. Getting down now towards water level here. So you can see now that the bank's a nice shallow gradient. We'll continue that into the pond slightly, make some shelves and areas, like I said before, for planting marginal plants. We'll still keep profiling this back yet. I'm just sort of roughing it off to start with, trying to get the basic shape. We've got to come from, say, high ground at this side here, and taper that down, just trying to make sense of it. You can see beyond it's quite rolling landscape over here. So we just want to sort of mirror that really in the contours of this, just so it looks like it's more naturally formed and just sits a little bit softer in the environment. There's obviously more material to take there in front of the excavator. We'll start pulling this all down. So hopefully tomorrow I can get most of that far end pulled out and shaped. And next week we'll have a final grade over it, and we'll bring probably the big rotavator to start with, give it a rotavating. That'll help level it and consolidate, and blend in then to the existing field. And I might even bring the power harrower as well, just with the levelling boards on that, just to make it even finer. And then we can get it seeded. It's a bit of a funny time of year for seeding now. If we're lucky enough to get a bit of warmth and moisture, then it'll get greening up, but I'm expecting that we'll probably need some extra overseeding come autumn. But for the sake of a couple of bags of grass seed, we might as well get some on here, and if we can get something holding together and just starting, it'll help. But yeah, I think it's a good start to the project. So a little bit more of it tomorrow. I don't know whether you've heard it, you might have picked up in the video. So far I've got a squeaking pin that's really annoying me. This digger's got a central greasing system on it, but over the years, bits and bobs of it have got broken off, and they're not getting pressure to certain pivot points. So Yuri's just turned up now. He's got a grease cartridge and some grease nipples. I'm just going to see if I can do a temporary fix, and whether or not I've got a grease nipple I can get in the top of there and get some grease into that pin. It's absolutely awful. If I can't get that, then backup plan, he's got some, I don't know, WD-40 or some other spray oil or spray grease. We're just going to try and get some penetration fluid in there and just see if we can just do a bit of a bush fix on it, just to try and take that squeak out. So obviously not going to do the pin any good or the bushing, and it's really, really, really annoying listening to that squeak. Right, the squeak's coming from this main pin here. See, there's a bit of grease there pushing through, but this line's broken. Not a big fan of these central greasing systems. The principle of the idea is good, but you never really know whether it's all working properly. I think I prefer a grease bank when it comes back to one place and you can just pump grease in. Oh, that's awful, that noise. I think that way you know that you're actually getting grease into every joint properly on a grease bank. Yeah, that's a bugger there that's broken off. That one's really dry. That's the one we need to get sorted now. I'm going to take this out. It is massive. I haven't got a grease nipple anywhere near as big as that in the box. I think what we'll do is we'll bob this out to start with. Have a look how... Oh, actually, look at that. It takes a 19mm spanner. But actually, the thread's really small. Look at that. You wouldn't have thought that, would you? So, bloody great big 19mm nut. Small thread. I might have a grease nipple that'll fit that. What I'll do is get a little bit of high tensile wire. It's a bit miserable in here. Oh yeah. It's just sort of really old, horrible grease. We'll just see what we can push out of that, fertile out of there to start with. And what I think I'm going to do, just grab some WD-40 and just try and clean that out a little bit. We'll get some round so hopefully let's get some WD-40, some penetrating fluid into that grease way, just pushing out some of that, cleaning out some of that old caked up grease, getting plenty in around the sides of the pin anywhere I can, which will hopefully just start freeing out the grease ways and clean it up a bit. Obviously while I'm out on site now I don't want to start having to try and take this pin out, because that could turn into a bit of a big nasty job that we might not get back in. Got a couple of little selection packs of Vapormatic grease nipples of all sorts of varying sizes. Let's see if we can find one that'll fit. When I took it out, the thread did look a little bit marled. What would be really nice to do would be to run a tap into there. Just see if we can get this started into here. She's going in. Hope we don't get any dramas with this. Oh, that's good. That's gone in nicely. I'm pleased about that. So we've gone from a extremely efficient and effective auto grease system back into manual mode. I think that's going to be miles better. Let's get some, I always carry some nitrile gloves in my truck. I should have put them on before I started with that penetrating spray. Right, got the grease gun. Got my gloves on. Noticed straight away that I've got the blue grease in here. So fortunately everyone at the yard seems to utilise my slightly more expensive high-speed bearing grease, general purpose greasing. But I suppose expensive grease is better than no grease. Is that empty? Where's it going? Yeah, it's got about as much grease in it as the pin had originally. Why is the grease gun always empty? You already brought two grease guns. One's always empty. I suppose the good thing is with an empty grease gun, it does show people are actually using it and stuff is getting grease. Oh, you are winding me up. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, happy days. Oh, that's really good. Oh, I'm really pleased about that. I'll just show you. So by clearing that grease way out with a bit of high tensile wire, get some penetrating fluid in there, the grease is finding its way through all those little recesses that are machined into it and is now splodging out the sides. So that's epic. Sometimes when something's been short of grease for a while, all those grease ways get full of really cake baked stuff, and then the grease never finds its way through the pin. So that's bloody good. Yeah, so I'll just start her up now and we'll give her a bit of a work and see whether that is the pin that was squeaking. his fingers crossed. Oh, beautiful, look at that. Oh yeah, that's brilliant. So that was definitely the squeaking pin. Got a grease nipple in there now so we can keep on top of that. Epic. It's been quite a long day on the digger. Quite satisfying now, we're starting to see a bit of progress with the site. So we've sort of roughly graded it all round, reduced those banks right down. So it's starting to look a lot better now. Machine parked up over there, so next week we'll start working in that corner, ripping out the old slipway down there. That slurry ramp, get that pulled out, start bringing that soil round. A bit more grading over here, just get this a bit flatter yet. There's some horrible bits of concrete in here still. You might have noticed on some of the parts of the video, just trying to flick out as much as I can. I've got little piles all over the place, burying some as I've gone in the very bottom. Yeah, it's quite rough stuff. It's heavy, real heavy clay that's been used to put this bank in. With this bit of concrete in it, it's pretty miserable. So I think it's going to be a bit of a rough old job on the rotavator, but a bit of stone picking and a bit of perseverance, I'm sure we'll get there. But it's starting to come together anyway. So if you've not already, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can ring that little bell thing in the corner which lets you know when we've got more of our videos out. The little channel's going quite well now. I think we're nearly up to 600. I'd love to be able to try and get up to 1,000 subscribers. It would be ace. So if you're not already subscribed, you've been watching a little while, really appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing. Sorry to keep banging on about it, but we're just trying to grow this little channel. So yeah, if you've got any comments, any feedback, anything else you'd like us to film, anything else you want to see in our videos, please drop them in the comments. We always love to hear from you. Try and reply to all of them. So thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you later in the project.